Hello, hello. Sorry for any issues with internet. I'm not sure what's going on, but welcome to Mrs. Best Reviews. And we are here to discuss the last episode of season 1 of Summer House Martha's Vineyard. We have James, who is waving at you in a way that just brings joy and peace and love from Watch
Oh
Your Mouth
no,
Reviews.
thank you.
Thank you for being here again, watching the recap. To anyone joining and watching, we appreciate you as well. As stated before, it's the last episode, season 1, episode 8. It does not look like there will be a reunion. Nothing was
I
announced.
hate that.
I'm just like, you give us shows like this and there's no reunion. Though I feel like there not being a reunion may have something to do with the cast. These people are a little like different compared to other shows. They seem to really care about the perception that how we perceive them and stuff. So that's interesting. But I really don't think this show needs a reunion, especially if they don't know if they're going to do a season 2 or keep the cast. So we're just going to jump right on into the episode. So the episode in the last episode 7, we see that Silas and Jasmine are having all of these issues, and then they continued to have issues as we go into this episode. So she basically becomes upset and ends up calling her grandmother and kind of separating from him, and she kind of like pushed back from the group, which let me see like, oh, I think she's really fed the F up. And she kept saying in her confessional she thought that this vacation would be a place for her to get a break. But honey, if you have to take a vacation to get a break from being a wife, then you, no disrespect, you probably need to address that, because everyone needs a vacation and time to themselves. But I don't think we're discussing the roles in a relationship that deep on a freaking vacation. Like, if I'm too sleeping drunk to make Josiah some food, he's gonna wake up and either go buy it or make it himself. Uh,
Boom.
Listen, like that. So I understood her calling her grandmother for advice, and then she explains how her parents were never made, and she looked to her married, and she looked to her grandparents as kind of what that is supposed to look like, if that makes sense. What I got from this is their relationship in general is a mess. And I think that the longer they would have been on TV, the more stuff we would have.
I feel like she didn't know what she was running from and ran right into it, if you understand what I mean. Like, I
Yeah,
feel like if we look at her grandparents and their situation, I guarantee you the similar.
it probably is. It probably is, especially with them being her grandparents. I can almost guarantee that it is. I don't want to go too much into it because I'm just kind of glad that the show, no disrespect to Bravo and the fans of the show, but I'm kind of glad it's over. Um, wasn't the most impressed. So the things Silence were complaining about was basically food and routine, which I think we can all as a collective say we're tired of. We're tired of. That's how he bitches about things and does nothing about it. It's the same way he did Bria's dog's poop, saw it, did nothing about it, went and told every single member of the house about it, but the person who could fix the issue, and then cried like a little baby. That's kind of the same thing I get from Silas. I think now that we're at the end of the show and the season, we can, because we've been saying, well, maybe this, maybe that. No, every episode he has consistently behaved like a big ass man child. Hell, a man infant, because even a child can make themselves a sandwich if they are hungry and no one's available to make it. Silas flipping out and wanting to argue about clothing, how she should iron the clothes, steaming it. Then he didn't like later in the episode when she went to a store. I'm not going to waste too much time talking on Silas and Jasmine, so I'm just going to get it out the way for those who are wondering, because I'm tired of talking about this couple. He is an asshole, a chauvinist, has no respect for women as a people. And I am someone, see, today is a day because James was like, I changed my opinion on So Gucci on the Bell Collective Live, and I've changed my opinion on Silas That nigga ain't shit. That's all I can say, thugs.
When have you not said that?
I've said it, but I just feel like now that we're at the end, I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. Like maybe maybe it's this. I'm like, maybe it's culture. Maybe she's shown
You
him
did
something.
do that. Yeah, you did do that.
Yes. But now, and I'm African myself, I don't feel like it's fucking culture. I feel like he's an asshole and he has no respect for women. And I don't think that has to do with their culture because I know plenty of African people from the actual motherland. Some of them still live in there who are married and respect their wives, even in a land in areas and cities where traditionally the woman shouldn't be doing all of that. So if you love your wife and you respect your wife, you know, culture is going to impact you, yes, but not to this extent. So I know they did end the episode talking about getting to therapy as soon as they're done with this, but I don't know if it's going to fix anything, and I do think that's the only reason we would have wanted a reunion. I mean, we didn't even get updates like they do when they end the Housewives. This person went and did. We didn't even get updates. So I don't know what the hell we're supposed to do with that. But I guess I will get your opinion on Silas and Jasmine and their issues through the episode because I'm not wasting my time on that.
I was going to say, girl, move on.
Do you have opinions or are they pretty similar?
It's not that our opinions are similar. I said what I said. I feel like Jasmine honestly came into this situation thinking that she had to be married at a certain age, and Silas was getting older and he just picked whoever would fit the mold. That's all that this is. That's what we're looking at. That's why I'm just like, when people were talking about, oh no, they really love each other. I'm not saying they don't love each other. What I'm saying is they were a pandemic relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Like they literally were in isolation. So they didn't know each other or have lived with each other. And not to mention, Jasmine has other trauma bonds that she can't even work through because she won't admit they're there. So it's like, what else could we gain from them too? So I'm over them. I don't want them to come back next season. I really don't. If there is a next season.
That's what I was gonna say. And I think I'm gonna do that as we go through people. I can't see them coming back. I just cannot see it. They don't need to. They definitely have a lot to address individually and as a couple. Let's just get out the way looking at my notes, everything. We talked about her running errands, but he was upset that Amir brought him food and made a comment that bothered me. Men don't bring each other food. And I quoted that shit. This is where the sexist, classist, bullshit, misogynist. We've called him, we know he's misogynist, but I was so offended. I had to rewind that so many times and rewatch the thing to make sure, because it takes a lot to offend me. Like personally watching something, I'm like, oh, men don't bring each other food. Have you never been to a barbecue, my nigga? Like, have you never been?
Okay.
Have you never eaten at a restaurant?
So you ain't never had a male waiter before,
right?
Like,
with the swap out with the female.
Yeah.
Like Silas calling in to the Kempire. Shout out to the Kempire. We love you and your elephant tribe. But listen, Kempire, don't take his calls no more, boo.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't waste
don't
your
take
time.
His calls no more.
Don't waste your time because
don't waste your time.
There is no defending of his actions.
The things that
There's
he said,
nothing that we can defend.
That's how he feels. That's how he feels.
Boom.
And he is entitled to feel how he feels. But we don't need to experience that. And I'm looking at Jasmine like, girl, you got some serious security issues, trauma issues, all sorts of things, because this man, I don't think therapy, you can't put someone in therapy or teach someone how to respect you. So that's all that comes back to. And even Jordan says, because Jasmine got so fed up, she went and talked to Jordan about the issue. And I was glad to see Jordan take the advice that she gives on how to talk to someone with advice. She didn't try to encourage her to leave or anything. She's just like, yeah, your feelings are valid, and that's what you should do with your friends, not encourage them to leave their spouses, but your feelings are valid. I'm totally here to listen to you and you have worth. But as a couple, I'm kind of annoyed because we spent half the season with them having sex every day as if nothing's wrong. And then as soon as the people brought up the sex, suddenly they have all these issues. And now they want to bring them out on the last episode. So
right, and that was a good catch, because it was like after they stopped doing that, then that's when the issue. So it makes me wonder if y'all have sex every night to ignore the issues that
or
happen
not
in that
even to
relationship.
ignore it. Like lust can be a thing, and then you like things about
No,
other
no, no. I
people.
don't think that that's what that is. I really think that the sex that they have allows them to really ignore in the moment, because they're both expecting pleasure from each other, that they're ignoring the issues, and it's just building and building and building and building without
Mhm.
ever being addressed. So that's actually a good catch, because I didn't even think about it like that.
Yeah, I've been thinking that since the issue of sex. I was like, the whole dynamic of their energy against each other and in the house changed. So, I mean, it's uncomfortable. I've been called out for having sex when having roommates, living with family, things like that. Like people hear you, they get upset. That didn't stop us from fucking. We still going. So that's how I knew that there are cracks in that. But moving on, because we will not be coming back to these people. We're going to move it on. We see that Alex and Nick are basically working together to put on an event, which we'll come to next. But the group prior to that goes to what's called Oak Bluffs. And from what we understood and learned on the show, it was the first place that Black people could buy property. I am not sure if that was the first place in the area of Vineyard, of Martha's Vineyard, or just the first place
Yeah,
in
I think
general.
she said it was one of the first places that they could own property,
Mhm.
which I need to look into that, because I think there was some.
I'm pretty good on Black history, and
Yeah, and
we were
I've never
able
heard
to
that.
buy property in other places and other ways. It was more difficult because of things like sharecropping and things like that. I'm not stupid, y'all. I know my history, but maybe that was the first
It
place
makes
on the vineyard.
Because
That
the
would
thing
make
about New
sense.
England in general, where this is centered around, there was still a lot of prejudices there, as well as in the South. So it makes me wonder if it was a different type of purchase. Like,
Mhm.
I'm not saying sharecropping, but like if it was a different type of like scam that people were doing back then. So that's why I'm like, I don't know if I believe that.
Yeah. I didn't fully believe it either. I know that there's a lot within Black history that's difficult to know for certain because of the things we experience, but I know that that wasn't the first place. But, and this is why Bravo has to have Black people primarily working in the background, because if they did, then I know somebody would have caught that. And that's all I really have to say on that trip. What I will say, just to touch, because it is the season finale, we don't know if we're going to get more, is I do want to speak about how in the show they advertised it as if it was a summer house, like the other summer house, right? They advertised it, okay, we see there's a Black cast. Then when the show comes on, they made it seem like we were going to get like these Black experiences and get to learn a lot about it. And personally, my personal opinion individually is that they were very lazy with how they edited and how they showed and explained Black history. And my only thing as for the cast as a whole that I was disappointed in, for all of them, you don't have to do everything that the fucking producers tell you to do just to make yourself look Black. Like Amir asking, so where does soul food come from? Or how do you come in this house as a chef, but you can't fry chicken? That was odd. Like little things that you could just catch to know, like the producers told you to do that. That's offensive and can be a little touchy. So I definitely felt they should have done
Especially when I'm gonna say this, especially when you have made it apparent to talk about how you were suppressed from knowing this other half of you. That is where my issue lied with what he said. It wasn't the fact that it came out of his mouth. It's just that you're continuously perpetuating this narrative that your family has kept you away from this side, and now you don't know any history, but you live in one of the most predominantly African American based cities in
and
Texas
states.
and states.
And
Yeah,
states. Yeah.
yeah.
That's what, okay.
So, so
We'll
that's
just
what I
go
yeah,
into discussing Amir next since you're on it, because he
right
didn't have
much.
much. Well, overall, I know that your opinion on Amir has pretty much stayed the same. And I think that from the beginning of the show to now, that your opinion was almost spot on. He wasn't in our face as much with trying to connect everything and question the Black experience, but he sure did. If you guys go back, look in the playlist, Bravo TV reviews, and you will find all of our summer house reviews. If you go back to the first one, honestly, all of them, James has said from the beginning, he's the type of guy who's going to act like he needs to connect everything and didn't know. And he did do that this season. And outside of acting confused at Blackness, he gave nothing. He wasn't really problematic, except for maybe once or twice being messy, but he didn't really give much. Amir, I think of everyone on the cast, disappointed me personally the most. So
he didn't disappoint me the most, but I will say that I would have preferred for him to kind of not be so, I don't want to say the word ignorant, but I want to say the term like, you know, he was very inconclusive. That's what I'm going to say. It was very like, you just didn't know where you fit in. And by kind of making yourself look a certain way, you actually end up making yourself look worse than what you did if you just been yourself.
Yep.
That's just what I'm saying.
That right there, I think, is spot on. When you're trying to be someone that you're not, it comes off in a way that's obviously not authentic and disingenuous. And when you come off that way, people are like, So, I mean, Amir didn't give much. He's definitely a person, before we move on from him in this video altogether, who I would not care to see back on TV anywhere. I think he's a nice guy. He seems like a nice guy. I could see myself, like, if I met him, I feel like I'd get cool with him. But I can't see, he just doesn't give me, I should be on TV. No, especially with
not at all
how he just allowed producers to kind of run him and what he did. Moving on from Amir, the next person I'm going to get into this episode, I guess we'll do Jordan. We didn't get much from her this episode at all. We're going to discuss her for what you thought of her over the season. I'll let you take the lead on this one, friend.
I felt like she was out of place personally with this cast. I felt like it was like high school. She was the popular girl who had to go and do 40 hours of community service with the rest of everybody because she missed her credits. So and this is what you get, the girl who did not fit in with anybody and was trying to connect, but it just wasn't connecting. For her to say Amir's her closest friend in the house, when you have Jasmine, Bria, Shanice, Summer, all these girls, you mean to tell me Amir was and Preston?
So here's the thing with Jordan that I noticed, and I didn't want to say it till we got to the end of the episode. You know, I've said she seems more interested. She's weird to me because obviously she has her own personal issues, but I still stand by the fact that she uses sex as a way to like get away, in my opinion, and the feeling of being sexualized, having sex. For someone who doesn't want to be sexualized, you talked about sex every fucking time that in chance that you could, whether it was about being celibate, and not having sex, whether it was about wanting to have sex, who you'd have sex with, all of these things. If you don't want to be sexualized, don't talk about sex so often, especially on camera. Overall, I don't care to have her back. She did all of that with Amir, talking about how the men in this house, yelling at all of them a few episodes back, how they all over-sexualize her. But you're the only female sharing a bed with niggas. You're the only females laid up with them, cuddling with them like I would cupcake with my dude. If you are really that concerned about not being overly sexualized to where it impacts you on an emotional level, then in my opinion, behave like that. Because for me, as someone who's been sexually assaulted, it was triggering to hear someone act like they're overly sexualized by a bunch of men who aren't doing something when she's literally, it seemed like, putting herself in these situations. And then when she does something that may not come off right or look right, then suddenly I'm over sexualizing this and that. So I think Jordan needs to seek therapy individually before coming back and doing television, because this may have worked with this group of men, But if she tries that shit with some other men, I don't think that will work well for her. They'd probably not want to film
It
with
was a
her.
controlled space. So when you're in a controlled space, you can make these kind of allegations and preconceived notions of the other men in the house. Yeah, it was actually well into her favor. But what I'm going to say about Jordan is that, as I told you in the last review, I don't like women who put themselves voluntarily in a situation like Playboy and then want to feed on the experiences, knowing that that's what you're going to come out looking like. You're going to come out with men fetishizing you. You're going to come out with men seeing your breasts. You're going to come out with men seeing you in that whole mentality because you're showing yourself nude. Playboy was not invented for women to be free and expose and enjoy their body in voluptuous ways. No, it was never supposed to be like that. It was for a male-centered entertainment site.
You
That
also
was
did Playboy during a time that the allegations and things that were happening in Playboy were very public, and you still chose to go into that environment.
right, where there was underaged women and all kind of things allegedly, like
Mhm.
drugs and all kind of stuff allegedly. So you're trying to tell me that you still thought in your mind that this was supposed to be where you're supposed to go and not think that you weren't going to have any trauma from that. Because to me,
Yeah.
this is guilt. If you
Yeah.
ask me, this is guilt. She's
Mhm.
acting
And
as
you
somebody
don't
who
have
is
to
guilty for
feel
doing.
guilty for doing Playboy, for showing your body. If that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. But where you are wrong is to put your guilt and your personal feelings onto innocent people. I don't like
Yeah,
that.
I don't like that either. And to me, I felt like in that situation, Alex egged that on. And people don't want to put him responsible, especially the women. Like if you go on the social media, the Instagram page and read some of them comments about that one scene where Alex, explained to her about Amir and everything, and how women was like, oh no, he wasn't being messy, he was looking out for her best interest. Alex can do no wrong. No, 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 no.
These are probably
Y'all
the same women in fucked up situations and alone because he lied. What do people watch when they see TV? He literally,
an
Amir
attractive
literally,
man, that's what they were looking at, who's tall.
like, just so everyone who's just joining or unsure, Alex is another cast member who we will eventually get to. But Amir showed interest as people do. Who are you interested in? Well, if we're going to say who we're interested in, I'm interested in Jordan. That's literally all the young man said. Alex took that and was like, he was saying that you're his for sex and all of this. And it was not that. Y'all, people watching the show can take your own personal situations and try and mesh it and think that it's similar to some shit you've been through, but it's just the fact Amir did not try to over sexualize her, tried to open doors, be nice to her, didn't even come at her in a way that a lot of men, especially black men, would come at a female. So I call bullshit on that. I definitely would say before we move on from her that Jordan is not someone I'd want back. On this show. I don't think I'd want to see her in any show. She's the one who needs to definitely get the therapy and go. She did too much. I never once empathized with her this season. I couldn't really connect with her. So, maybe she should stick to modeling, dating rich men in New York, and I hope that everything works out for her. And I hope that she does seek healing because something happened to her that is causing her to have this level of aggression, anger, and almost hate towards the opposite sex. Listen, Jordan, men, as my husband says, are fucking visual. Okay. So sometimes you're going to get looked at. When I put my bra on and have some cleavage, I know that somebody's going to look at it. It doesn't mean that they're going to overly sexualize or come at me aggressively. It's just a part of what happens. Some men do it. Yes, they do. But the ones that you were in the house with, the only one that over sexualized you was Alex. And you are so ready to come at Amir, which was weird to me when Alex is the one making jokes about sex through the episode. Every time they show the scene of just them two, oh, it's hard, huh? Oh, you like your rough, huh? Oh, you're looking thick today. That's the person, if anyone over sexualized you, that she should have had that energy too. So I kind of felt from the first episode, especially with her getting in on that guy. Was it Phil? I can't remember his name, who came in like the second
Mm-hmm.
episode. coming at him like she gonna fight him or something. I was like, oh, you pick on who you know won't fight you back or who you know will take it in some way. And I didn't like that. But we're gonna move it along. I don't think you have much else to say on her. So we'll move it along to the next person who didn't give shit. Who you think it is?
Preston.
Yep, look at God. I'm trying to tell y'all, this is my friend for a reason. Ain't he beautiful? And he knew. He just freaking knew. Preston. I don't even know what to say. He was
I'll say this, Preston. Thank you for being the voice of reason in some cases, and thank you for giving us some form of entertainment that wasn't annoying or triggering for the rest of the cast. We do appreciate your presence. Bravo in that call center. Don't do this no more.
I think James covered it. I don't have anything negative to say about Preston. I respect him. He worked. Silas is the wanting to, I have to work while on this vacation. He's talked about it the whole time. Preston has worked every day on this vacation, taking calls. We see him moving around, trying to figure stuff out. Hasn't complained about having to be at work with these people. So I did appreciate him as being unproblematic.
Oh, and another thing, hold on. I'm sorry to cut you off.
It's okay.
Bravo in that call center. If they don't have the PTO at their job to do this show for 15 days, do not cast
them. Yep.
Do not cast them. If they do not have the PTO from their job to come on this trip, I don't want to see them. Because that was crazy to me how him and Silas were always on the computer working. And then when the cameras come in, they want to start little antagonistic arguments with whoever's in the room. That is stupid.
Yeah. I definitely agree. I think that when you're casting anybody for a show like this, they have to listen. You people act like there's not a such thing as an LOA. It's called a leave of absence, people. And in America, we are all entitled to do it. And I know in the states that these people came from, New York, California, I believe Washington, you can take a leave of absence and they have to hold your position legally for up to 365 days, at least here in California. And I know in New York, it's like 6 months or something like that, because I have a cousin who did that. But no, there's no reason that these people had to come on that show like that. Take a leave. Your job can't tell you no to a leave of absence. They can't. You won't get paid, but the show is probably paying you what you would make the whole time in just an episode. So you have to think in the long run. I hate that they did that. I feel like production did that maybe to make it relatable. But again, I think it comes back to this was rushed.
That's not relatable to work while I'm on vacation.
I mean, maybe they're trying to like connect to like people who like have actual jobs instead of us seeing people on TV who are starting companies and doing that. But they could have done that.
Which is fine. But once again, the premise of the show was they were on vacation. They were not on workman's time, Shanice, Preston, Silas. So I'm going to say it again. If you do not have the PTO to do a show like this, and it was only 15 days.
Yeah, that's true.
Then you shouldn't have been casted.
I agree. I definitely think we can agree on that. Either way, there's a way that they could have been away from work to do this. Or you got screenwriters. If you look at the fields they work, aside from Preston and Silas, you all work in fields that have to do with the spotlight and stuff. So you would think that you would want to take the opportunity.
No. Exclude Silas from that, because I know for a fact the service does, when you reserve, they do give you PTO in case something happens. And
really?
Yes.
In the reserves?
Yeah, they do.
Oh.
Now, I don't know if it's the same as Christmas time, because you're a different kind. Because I work with somebody who's in the Army Reserve, and he went on vacation to Jamaica for 10 days. And all he had to do was he had to do 1 weekend of drills, and after his drills, they approved his time off, so they could not call him to do drills that month because he took a PTO. So that's what it was. So that's why I'm saying no. I don't believe that. I believe now Preston. I don't know his situation. He's a lawyer. I don't know what that situation is because that's client by client basis. So he might have to build up cases and do research for work. I will give him a pass. But Silas, no. You could have taken off.
Well, I definitely will not disagree with you there. I think the whole cast could have found a way to get out of work personally. if they really wanted to. And that's what leads me to believe that this was rushed or something, because you do sometimes need to give notice about going on notice. But, hopefully if there's a season 2, we get a different cast in a different situation. Because in the regular Summer House, I don't think they even do this with work and stuff. So I was like, what the hell is this? Bravo, your edges are showing. Did you do this lazy bullshit because it's an all-black cast? Because on other shows, this would not have happened to this extent. I mean, we literally got a lot of nothing. So let's see. Preston, I really don't have much to say. I was just glad when he told Silas and called him out on his stuff on the last episode. But outside of that, Preston gave nothing. It just feels like he was put there because he's gay and they wanted somebody who's a part of the LGBTQ community. Honest to God, that's what I got from it. No, I'm not homophobic. For those of you looking out there, or those of you who are part of that community who are oversensitive and want to attack people for no reason, no, I'm obviously not homophobic. My best friend is gay. Leave me the hell alone. But you don't have to just throw someone on a show to check off a box for a demographic. I think that's more offensive than...
It is offensive. That's why I said that in the first episode of this review, when we started doing this show. I said, bravo, y'all are wrong for this.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's not the representation that as Black folks we all needed. Like, they didn't have to be there. We appreciate it, but he didn't have to be there amongst all of them. If y'all were going to make it that way, then you should have 2 of them.
Yeah. Yeah, or had him come with his spouse, since he lived with somebody, since we already had a couple.
Right, exactly. And we didn't know that until the was 2 episodes
literally
ago
last episode.
Yeah. What was that, episode 1 through 5?
They didn't take the time. That's why I say they put him on that show to check the box so they could say they had someone gay. Not every show has to have a gay cast member. Cast who matches and meshes and gets along. When you start casting based on, I need to put an Asian here, I need a Black person, I need a white person, I need a gay person, then it doesn't cohesively blend. And that was the thing. Preston, I could tell some of the girls he messed with and might know, but he doesn't give me, I'm going to be going crazy for reality TV and doing all of this. But I liked him as a person. So we're going to move on from Preston. And now we pretty much got to get to... Who was boring next? Shanice? No, Summer. Shanice is gone. Why the hell did I say Shanice's name? She's been gone for episodes. Anywho, Summer. So I don't really know where to start with Summer. So for now with Summer, we got Summer later in the show, like literally halfway through the season. She was
Mariah's replacement, basically.
Yeah,
and
she did nothing.
She did nothing to the show. She added nothing to the show. She was aggravating from the moment she got there. I don't really care for her too much. But what's interesting about what I'm about to say is I actually would not mind if she came back.
I wouldn't either. Because you always need that person who kind of lurks in the background, not saying much. The faces, when they would be acting crazy, her faces when people would come and talk to her about stuff, and her response.
Yeah, she was it was very spot on. I will give her that. But what I don't like about, and I think this is where my aggravation with her comes from, and this is more so on Bravo's part, not hers, is that they were trying to push this narrative of her and Alex when we know that in no way, shape, or form these two connected. Y'all gonna stop trying to push this on this man and try to put it in our faces as if we don't know what the hell we're looking at.
Alex's goal the whole show for me seemed to be to have somebody that he could fuck with, who's a female, or to look like he was interested in somebody. He's distracted people from something, I don't know what, but we'll get to Alex. As for Summer, we got nothing from her most of the episodes. In this episode, after the group went to the Oak Bluff event where they learned some things about Black history, they go back home to basically see that Nick and Alex have set up this whole big event. Alex made this about him when it wasn't. It just so happened you got the last event, the finale event, dude. He kept making it. I hate when people who do music try to make the shit seem different than it is. by using words like, oh, I wanted to create this ambiance and I wanted these ethereal sounds, and I really just wanted the energy and the vibe, to come together as one conglomerate so that we could discover and display unity and togetherness. Like, that's how he talked. And I'm like, my nigga, it's just a performance in somebody's backyard of a house that you ain't put nothing in, that's not on your name. And you got some of your personal friends and stuff that were able to come through. Y'all just had a little party in the backyard with a stage. Now, good for you for showing the talent, but was it that deep that we had to have all that? But I can't stand when people try to talk and make something about them by making it seem like it's deeper than it is, when it really wasn't that damn deep. But we do see that for some reason, for Summer, I was cracking up, and she's like, are you crying?" Whoever she was sitting next to was like,
"What the fuck are you crying for?
Why are you crying?
Why are you crying?" That was so crazy to me. You can't tell me allegedly that she don't study witchcraft. You can't tell me no shit like that, because I promise you, she is crazy.
Why was she crying over his performance? I thought that was weird. Outside of that, Summer did later after the event get into it with Bria.
Yeah, which was weird. That was weird too.
That
because let me paint the picture. Bria told you not to bring your ass in that room.
Mm-hmm. And you
did it. Said it twice that I heard her say. She said, "Hey, please don't come in here. I'm not in the mood. Please don't come in here." You still walked your married ass up in that room,
knowing her man was in there too.
Yes,
which was weird to me.
Which was weird. Yeah, that was even weird as well. And then you had the nerve after she said, "I don't want you in here." Da, 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 da. She goes, I don't know what Bria was talking about, but it ended with Mariah pushing her. And I said, "Well, now why you put your hands on her?"
You said Mariah. That was who pushed her before.
Oh,
Bria. But you know what?
Summer, why you put your hands on her?
You come into someone else's space when you're not supposed to be there, asked not to be there, and told not to come in, because you want to get in the middle of an argument and defend somebody else's man,
right,
who was in the room. And then you hit her, and then all we got at the end of it was, "I'm sorry, I love you," and everything's cool.
Yeah, like, I get y'all were friends before this, but
no. What kind of friendships do people have? Because I'm not.
You don't have any boundaries. Yeah, exactly.
I got trashed with you in Arizona a few years ago. We was fucked up. I think we had to throw Crystal, our other friend, in the car. We just threw her in the back seat. He had a little ass Camaro. We were so drunk. She had us doing karaoke.
She wanted to go home with that guy.
Oh, she got so drunk. We were drunk. That's all I know.
They both were
my friends. And we did not fight each other. We did.
No.
Me and Crystal and James is always a referee with us. But
yeah, those two got into it. But yeah, no.
But did we hit each other? Did anybody hit each other?
No, it was so funny is the day after when she threw that tantrum. Jazz was like, "See, now I can't do this." And all I was like, "Oh, you just saw
my friend is telling me as we're being dropped off at the airport while my other friend is, doing whatever she was doing. She was having a moment. Now listen, you just let her ass do what she do, because he knows my temper, y'all. He's like, "I'm not trying to get no phone call bailing your ass out of federal custody."
Right. I said, let her, if she on that plane acting a fool, let her do it and let her and act like you don't know her.
Listen, this just shows. See, we really are cool. But the point of bringing that up, you can be pissed drunk and get into it with your friends and not put your hands on them. Now, I may have needed a little talking to, but I didn't do nothing.
Right.
And neither did our friend Crystal. She did nothing in terms of physicality. So you can't just put your hands on people. And it's weird to me when I see, like, on TV, I feel like from reality TV, it's becoming the norm. Like, oh, sometimes you might get drunk and fight your friends. Ain't no way in hell that anybody's gonna put their hands on me and then tell me, "Oh, I'm sorry, I was drunk." Because drunk in my sober thoughts. So no, I didn't understand why Summer put her hands on Bria. I didn't like how quickly they went over the issue and like moved on from it. I thought all of it was very strange. Um,
It was strange. It was like, okay, so you not gonna say exactly what happened? Like what? Like, okay, I was over them too at this point.
yeah.
Summer can come back, and honestly, Bria, Bria could come back. I'll give Bria that.
Now, Bria, I think needs to come back. My Gemini twin. Listen.
Okay, because y'all got switches. It go on and off. I promise you, it's on the back. You just flip that shit on. It literally triggers that other side. I
You
promise you.
sound like my husband, and I'm mad at you for it because you know what? Geminis, we're just a bit touched. We're not wrap tight. We're not. But Geminis will not fuck with you unless somebody else done something first. If you peep, Bria ain't just attacked none of these people. Minding her business. Here come Mariah. Bitch, the dog, this, that. Minding her business. Here comes Summer, busted, bogarted her way into her bedroom. Like, so Geminis, we won't fuck with you unless you fuck with us. But Bria, at first I was like, is she gonna blend with this group? I remember episodes back being concerned. Like, is she too timid? No. Bria is not the one to play with.
No, because she with it. She with the shit.
Every person put their hands on Bria first, but Bria is always the one being held back by security and the cast. Tiny little feisty thing. I tell you, tiny little feisty thing. Anywho, moving it on along. Let me get back on the focus. So, okay, this is random. Nick and Alex. Now, some would call it a bromance. I called it a weird moment. That's literally
I call it. They look like they fucked in college, and then they just,
they were
kind of
like,
look like it. Just literally look like two husbands getting married.
especially for
Allegedly.
brothers, like how black men operate, and this has nothing to do with being straight, single, or anything, just how black men operate. I was like, this is weird. This is weird. Like
It was
it was just,
extremely strange. It was like I was watching them too, and you would have thought they like. I know you don't want to make it about sexual orientation at this moment, but at the end of the day, it did look like they were a couple. I am sorry. It
there
looked
were
like they were.
hugs,
I
they
would have
looked at
thought
you
that
in the eye, like
and the way they was hugging, it was like
yeah, the constant hugs. Now, nothing's wrong with hugging your friend. My husband hugs his friends sometimes, but it's like greeting them. Yeah, what's up? It's quick, but they just kept hugging, sitting out there looking at the sunset, reminiscing on their experience in the summer house. And I'm just looking like, y'all are mad weird. And then we get this weird statement. Yeah, I just wish my girl could be here, man. What happened to talking about fashion, Mr. Fashion? What happened to that?
let's hurry get to what that girlfriend said because see that girlfriend. How much did you pay that girl to come here? Because she didn't have a problem with a damn thing. And see, and I was Jordan at this party. I was sipping that drink and like, if only she knew. And see, I know somebody who took it a step further and showed her the phone messages.
Girl,
But I feel like it didn't even
okay.
matter if you even did that because she didn't. She was unbothered by it all. She goes, he has. I'm sure he hasn't done anything that is questionable in our relationship. And it's like, oh, yeah, how long have you been in Africa? A year, two? Like, what are we talking about here? Go through his phone. I'm sure it says otherwise.
Listen, I don't know what's going on with that situation. I really don't know what is going on with that situation. I just don't. Before I move on to it, I'm gonna just get Bria out of the way. We talked about her a little bit. I don't have much to say. I just want to give my final thoughts on her. I hope she comes back next season, and I hope that if she comes back next season, that they bring her back with different people. That is what I'll say on Bria. The way that she talked to Simon and get at him, though, She's definitely a firecracker. I will leave it there. Moving on from Bria, because there's not really much else to say. We kind of covered her situation. We can move on to Nick and Alex. Should I do Nick or Alex first? Who should go first?
Nick.
Okay, Nick. And his store-bought girlfriend and or somebody he's close with that he's potentially known over the years and whatnot that may have been cool with coming on the show, and that it's just weird. Like, I know they had pictures and stuff to prove that these two knew each other, but you know how many people have pictures with me in it and I don't
I
know
was
them
just
from
gonna
a
say
can
that.
of
I was
paint?
just gonna
Like,
say.
as
He could know that could. She gives me that was the home girl from the neighborhood back in the day that I grew up with, and I'm a parlay on his girlfriend because I don't want people to perceive something about me because I probably have always had this perception of me. That's exactly what that young lady gave. I am sorry. There is no way I'm buying that this was an actual relationship because why out of nowhere would he claim you after it's been said? Now, surely he had to have known this TV show was going to premiere at some point. So I'm not buying these two were ever a couple. I am not buying that she was just simply in this fatigue state where I trust him 100% when every girl in that house has DMs from him. That's stupid. So
listen,
yeah, I'm sorry. I don't buy this relationship not one bit.
there's no way that my boyfriend, spouse, whatever, if I'm dating somebody, could come to me and be like, hey, just so you know, because you're coming in the house, I don't want you to be uncomfortable. I might have, made some joking DMs with some people. Well, who'd you do it with? Summer, Shanice, Bria, this person, Santa Claus, the guy on the corner, the chick working behind the counter at the gas station. I mean, you in people's DMs talk about, I know his heart. Listen, no.
You know it's hard, but do you know that mind is the question.
I don't buy it. It seemed like her response was practiced, and that for me was what did it. I could have been like, okay, maybe Nick just ain't shit, and his girlfriend's pretty slow, and maybe they'll break up after. No, it seemed like a rehearsed response.
As I said, this was
Yeah.
home girl from the neighborhood that he brought up in this house and pretended to be yes. Because I don't bit more believe with all of what he did these first 3 episodes. I don't bit more believe that they are together. I'm sorry, I don't believe that.
I could not. I don't think anybody believes that they're together, but whatever it is, if something is going on with Nick to where he feels like he has to keep his girlfriend secret for whatever reason, I just encourage you, like, outside of the fake bullshit with the girlfriend and the DMs, Nick to me was pretty likable. So, and that's outside of all the drama with his
I
women.
was gonna say he didn't become likable until that one episode where he checked Silas.
Yeah.
That's when I started to turn around and like, I'm okay with you. I'm just okay.
I'm okay with you. I won't say I like you,
I'm
but
okay
I'm
with
okay
you.
with you. Yeah. No, I agree. I don't have too much to say on Nick. I didn't. James, for those who are joining, has thought that Nick is in the closet hiding. Me, I was like, maybe, maybe not. But after seeing his interactions with Alex, I was like, yeah, this is weird. This is really weird. So as we move on along, before we get out of the next situation, I think it's important to talk about Bria being the only thug life, Bria, because the lead thug. I'm impressed. Walked over to the girl. Hey, how you doing? Just want you to be comfortable. Okay, time to get them open.
That was me.
Conversation. That's me too.
That's me. Me and her sit on this couch together. So how long? Because she didn't ask the right question. Well, at least they edited it. I brought on that call center. If y'all did, I'm mad at y'all. But how long y'all been together? Oh, so how did you feel? Because he was talking to her, and how did you feel about them? And it's the girlfriend. I don't feel like he's done. She looked, and then she said, "Oh, I don't feel like he's done anything that would betray my trust." And I'm looking at her like,
As he brings you to the house for the first time on the last day.
on the last damn day, only to prove that he had you.
Right.
And you expect me to believe that y'all are together. You magically can come out of your girl's trip on the last day. He did not mention you until 5 days in this house after a girl called him out about DMs. So you mean to tell me you gonna come out of nowhere on the last day and I'm supposed to buy that y'all two are together? No, nobody's this stupid.
No
So
way, Jose.
so
That's just
sorry. Yeah, I'm
acronym.
sorry, sis. You can miss me with that smirky over. She looked like Cena, not Cena. Grandma Cena, Jock baby mom. She looked like Cena to me. That's what I thought that was at first. I was like, oh,
Stand you. I can't stand you. Yeah, it was. I appreciated Bria for asking the correct question. Somebody had to do it, and the way that she slipped over there was funny as hell too. So I will definitely give that to Bria. Moving on because nothing else happened with Nick. Again, final thoughts on him. Don't think we need him back.
no, no, don't bring him back. No,
Definitely don't need him back. Let him and his Ralph Lauren let them flow in thy wind. We don't.
Very
It's touchy.
selfish.
Look at me.
Goodbye.
Look at me.
Goodbye. Don't let me see the smoke as you drive away. Just go.
Right. Yeah. Nick, I just didn't care for him as a part of the cast. The last person we went over Jasmine, Silas, Nick, Bria, Summer. All right. We need to go over Alex. So I'm just going to say what I have to say fast and get it done because, you know, I was taught by my mother and my daddy and my nana, if I don't have nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all or keep it cute and sweet. So I'm going to keep it cute and sweet. Alex, call center at Bravo. I don't want him back. I don't want him back. I don't want Silas back. I don't want Jasmine back. Really, you could throw the whole cast away except for Bria, but maybe throw Bria on Love and Hip Hop or somewhere she can squabble. We don't need her here, but especially Alex. Y'all really had this man on TV just like disrespecting women and giving a bad example of how men, like, I know there's some shitty dudes out there, but like this guy to me had no game. He's just a shitty person, in my opinion. He seemed very selfish as well. He was a part of every piece of drama that happened on this show. Paid attention to it, went back and looked at all my notes. He was a part of every piece of drama in this show. It's like, do you want to be one of the girls? Do you want to be our sixth partner or something? Like, why are you so involved in things that have nothing to do with you? He can't be trusted. He's shisty as hell and will betray and lie on people as he did to Lemire, or not Lemire. That's from a different show. Y'all know I like Black Ink Crew from Amir. His connections, I also feel like he went through this cast of women like they were just his props and extras for the show to make him look a certain way. Weird with Summer. You like her, but you don't want to kiss her. You're fucking weird. Weird with Shanice. You liked her, but you want to bring up her stuff from the past. Seems like you do everything you can to avoid being with people, Jordan included. So I just kind of didn't understand his purpose on the show. As for his performance in this event, he entirely tried to make it about himself, as he did with almost every other event in some way. When confronted on hard issues or things that he did wrong, he threw a fit, walked away. Pretty much a useless cast member who just, I didn't understand it. He always talked about his struggles and how he's just this peaceful person. And from my experience, people who feel the need to explain how they're in a great place and they meditate and they're in a place mentally that others can't quite get to without the benefits of what they do. People like Alex, they usually be like the worst of the worst, the least peaceful, the ones who are entirely opposite of what they say. So I did not care for Alex. He can sing, you know, a little bit. So, I mean, I give him that. He sang live with no auto-tune. Half of the artists and people that y'all listening to take that auto tune off and see what you get. Ooh, yeah. I'm just saying. So I give him that. He has talent, but I just don't like that. He's just a self-centered person. I get the feeling he's narcissistic, but I could be wrong.
It could. I would say he has tendencies. I wouldn't say he's a complete
Yeah,
narcissist.
maybe
He
not
has
a full
tendencies.
narcissist, but he definitely
But
has
to me, as
narcissistic
I said this
tendencies.
in previous reviews, he is the type of person that I honestly, and this is alleged because I can't say this man's sexuality or not, but he reminds me of a man that runs from homosexuality, but will find every reason in the world not to be with a woman. And to me, if you are asexual, just say that. But don't be trying to belittle women and throw their issues in their face as if you were there to witness it. And then also, don't sit up there and the one girl you could have been interested in, you find a reason not to be with her. And it's like, what are you even doing? See, Alex disappointed me the most because I kind of felt like in ways I related to him in a way. But then in the grand scheme of things, no, I can't relate to him at all. There is no way I can relate to somebody who manipulates a woman from trying to be with a man just because you don't have the game to get her. I don't have room for a man that sits up there and tries to predicate on a situation where the other man in the situation could have been easily as volatile. I don't have room for a man that sits there and targets a woman's body and then tries to shame another man for making another accusation that he didn't even do. So yes, he is dangerous. Bravo in that call center. I don't want to see Alex because that man is dangerous. Any
I
man that can
also,
sit up there.
I think it's just hard. Everything you said, I'm glad you said it because he annoyed me so much that it was hard to find the words. And I honestly just, Alex is a big reason I did not enjoy Summer House Martha's Vineyard. And
I
that,
wouldn't say he was a big reason. I would
for
say he's
me, he
one of
was.
the big
So,
reasons.
yeah, for me
Yes.
personally,
Oh, okay.
he is one of the larger reasons I didn't enjoy it. Him and Jordan and Silas and yeah.
Yeah, them four.
Them
And now I
four,
agree with you. Yes.
they ruined, in my opinion, what could have been. I hope that they get rid of those four for the next,
Yeah, because
if
then I'll
there's
take the other
season
four.
two.
If they get rid of those four, I'll take the other four.
Yeah, or they
I'll
could
make
have
them out.
taken like a show like Potomac or a Housewives and done what they did with Vanderpump Rules and did a spinoff of people who might know even just one person on the show, done something with that. But this group was
Tiring.
trash.
It was triggering to watch them because, as I said in previous reviews, this is not the representation of Black people that I wanted to see.
Yeah, I
This was
agree.
a very college formed versions of Black people that
I
don't
don't know
sustain
any.
past 30. So I just feel like, yeah, I just feel like, no, this was really ridiculous to watch. I
People
felt
like
like this
shows
was
and
a
they
mistake.
look at it for drama, but I think as Black people, you should be hoping to look for a show where, yes, there's drama and entertainment, but not in ways that can come off as
Not in the
malicious
ways
or
that misrepresent
dangerous.
us.
Yeah, not
Not in the
all
way that
Black people have
misrepresent us.
a gay and are, doing this with music and all these extra stuff. Like, that's not happening. I know most of the people I know in my life are African American, and I can literally say none of them are like the cast of Summer House. Obviously, that's probably what separates them from being regular people in my life to people who are on TV. And these people I know are college educated. Okay. Most of the Black people I know have more degrees than I could get. Okay. Doctors, lawyers, you name it. I know so many African American people with degrees, my family included. They don't act like this. So it was odd. I also felt like I had a cast of a bunch of 30-plus-year-old people behaving like they are 24 and on television for the first time. So that was interesting. I am not close to the idea of a season 2 of Summer House because I did appreciate the all Black cast. However, I would like for them to hire more Black people to work in the background at Bravo. I think that it helps. You look at people like Carlos King, who used to be with Bravo. He left certain shows and it is felt. So I think that it's vital to have people such as that. But for me, that's really all I had to say about this episode, about this season. It's basically another episode of the same things with alcohol leading to situations that they argue about, but these people have at least enough common sense to know, hey, I was drunk, and apologize the next day. But they definitely need another concept. I think what you mentioned would be good, having them in like how Real World used to be on MTV for the 90s babies like me, and
Absolutely.
throwbacks,
I
how they
think
put them in a job, gave them something to do, something they had to get up for. The concept of this summer house was odd, but I want to get your final thoughts because I have not.
you summed it up. The final episode was odd, and this whole season has been odd. It has been entertaining. I will give that. They did give the entertainment because it didn't make me want to throw the show away. But what I will say is that yeah, we need better representation. We need them to do something. Like if you're gonna have a summer house, like yeah, I get they're on vacation, but either they don't need to know each other at all and build a connection, or they all need to know each other and be friends outside is I don't need one person being the connect for all seven. Like that it was just weird for me.
I agree. I agree. I
So
agree. Well, that is our last recap of Summer House, Martha's Vineyard. I appreciate everybody for watching. We do have a lot of content and lives coming to you from B3ST Entertainment and Reviews. We have so much. We have a video coming from Also Best, as well as a project and EP soon. We have song reviews that are happening weekly. One of them's happening tomorrow. I will have The Wood Baby, someone I know, an upcoming producer from Redwood City, who's going to be a guest, as well as for those who watch the full show on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook, we'll have James from Watch Your Mouth Reviews. It's Watch Your Mouth Reviews, so he's going to review a variety of things. We also tomorrow have Love and Hip Hop Atlanta's season 11, episode 3 recap on my channel. And then we will have, prior to that, before that, we'll have the couples retreat on MTV. We'll have that recap. Is that the last episode tomorrow?
no, I think there's one more after this one. I think they're doing.
Well, we'll have that recap on James's channel. We're not sure if that's the last episode or not, but I mean, you'll know when you watch. We'll tell you. And then we have a song review also. So I appreciate all of thy support and everyone for watching. Thank you, James.
Thank you for having me,
everybody.
Have a good one.
Bye-bye.